Hey guys, how's it going? Tua Cruz here with...
Tunes.
We're here with Tuan-chan here in Nagoya, Japan, and we're going for a little bit of a ride today. And we wanted to make today's video focusing on answering your guys' big question, and that is, when are we leaving Japan? When are we moving to Vietnam? So we announced on our channel a while back that we're moving to Vietnam. We're planning to move to Vietnam, and then the whole world decided to go crazy. So we're going to talk about that in today's video and answer your questions on our ride. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go.
Let's go.
So we're actually in eastern Nagoya in a town called Nagakute. This is the city where we live. A lot of you guys who are loyal fans of the channel know that. And for anyone who's new to the channel, my name's Cruz, my wife's name is Tung. We're both cyclists. We live here in Nagoya, Japan. We've lived here for 5 years now, and we've made cycling videos on this channel for a long time. And pretty soon we're going to be making cycling videos in Vietnam. But for the time being, we're here in Japan, still enjoying some cycling here while we can. And as you can see, there's lots of school kids out right now. School's just getting out. People are on their way home. It is about 3:30 p.m. on a Thursday evening. And by the way, this gasto is actually where Tung used to work when she moved back here after we got married. She found her first part-time job, and she used to work at that gasto as a cook, cooking some food. And anyway, so to answer you guys' questions, and this is actually a pretty recent cycling lane here. This road has been here for a while. I used to commute on this road to my old job, which is up here, which I'll show you guys in a second. And back then, they didn't have this commute lane. They didn't have this painted here or anything like that. And now they have these blue arrows, they have this line, so it definitely feels a lot safer cycling along this road than it did in the past. But you can still see this is still a pretty busy road. There's a lot of universities, big businesses in this area, so there is a lot of traffic. There's also a lot of buses and big vehicles that come on this road. And often the buses will actually stop right in the lane. So if you get stuck behind one or one's overtaking you, it might stop right in front of you. And you can see that line right here. So that's where they'll stop, and it can be pretty dangerous, but we know how to navigate it pretty well by now. And straight up right here is actually one of the bigger universities in the Nagoya area. That's Aichi Gakuin University. There's also lots of car dealerships here and convenience stores, of course. Whoa, it's a pretty interesting car. And things are always changing here. It's been exciting to see that over the years living here. We're gonna cross straight and then cross right here. And the other cool thing about schools here in Japan is they always love their gates. They have these big giant gates, or mon as they say in Japanese. And Tuan's sporting her new awesome blue Santic kit. Yeah, we've got a couple new kits from Santic recently, our new sponsor. And she really likes this one. She was in a blue mood today, blue kit mood. And we're gonna stay on the sidewalks for this section because this is a really heavily trafficked road. It is not safe to ride on there. This is a cool little restaurant over here, by the way. It's got its own little garden. I think it's an Italian style restaurant. And I believe they source some of the vegetables they make there. I've never gone there, it's quite expensive. And we've got some cool little graffiti section, or not graffiti, but art. What's the difference between graffiti and art? Sometimes it's graffiti, sometimes it's art. And this is my old office where I used to teach. So a lot of you guys know I used to be an English teacher here in Japan. And that was at this university. This is a separate university, Nagoya University of Foreign Studies. So I taught there for 4 years as my first job here in Japan. And these are our university buses, my old university bus. So you see those along the streets here quite frequently. There's another one right there. They're constantly moving right now, but there's no students on them right now. Most classes are actually being online right now. I still have some friends who teach here, so I know a little bit of what's going on. And yeah, most classes are still online. There's very few students that are coming here actually to campus, but they still got the buses running, ironically, because I guess they still have some staff that need to go in for meetings and stuff. Oh, be careful here. They really should have stopped. We've got the right of way with the green sign. I'm surprised they didn't. And this is some of the bicycle parking area for the university. So it looks like there's still a couple bikes here, but on a normal university day, this whole place is packed. So definitely way less volume than normal. And this building we're about to pass right here on the right is actually the building that I used to study abroad at. So I did a 3-month study abroad here a couple years ago before I came here to live and work here actually. But anyway, let's get into today's topic. So answering what is our plan moving forward? When are we leaving Japan? When are we moving to Vietnam? And when are we selling all of our bikes? I've got a ton of messages from a bunch of different people asking about wanting to buy our bikes before we leave and what are the pricing, when are we gonna sell them? And unfortunately, everything has just been constantly delayed and more delayed. And our original plan was actually to move to Vietnam around April. So I was continuing working until around March or so, and our plan was to take a month or so to travel a little bit, see the country, relax, get everything organized and ready to go. And we were planning to leave around April or May or so. But unfortunately, Vietnam shut down for international travel around March. So that really screwed up our timeline. And we've just been constantly waiting for updated news from Vietnam, from the government, and when they're gonna allow international travel back into the country again. So actually, if Thuong wanted to go back, because she's a Vietnamese national, they would allow her to enter the country. She'd have to get on a special flight, and it would be a pretty insane amount of money for her to go actually, and she'd be away from me, so that's really not an option we're considering. So we need to wait until I'm allowed to enter. And right now, I don't have a visa to get into Vietnam. I was planning to either just go straight on a tourist visa and transfer that to a spousal visa because we're married, or applying for the spousal visa beforehand and then having that. There's a 5-year exemption, so you can use that visa exemption and you can pretty much go in the country whenever. So that was our plan, but unfortunately, we can't use either right now. We're gonna turn left here. We're actually gonna do some climbing. There's a really cool Japanese neighborhood here and there's some cool views, so we're gonna do a little bit of a hill workout and show you guys some cool Japanese neighborhoods. But anyway, until we get some clear information from the Vietnamese government on when they're gonna be opening for international tourists or also for family. So I've actually joined a couple different websites and forums for people, foreigners living in Vietnam, to learn more about the expat community and stuff like that there. And obviously my story is not the only one. There's actually a lot of people who are living in Vietnam. They have established lives there. They have assets there. They have businesses there. They have families there. And they were traveling around the time when the pandemic hit and they weren't able to make it back into Vietnam before it shut down. And those people have been isolated from their families, away from their businesses. So, and they have no clear solution for when they can get back in. And it's not just people in Vietnam, it's the same with people in Japan. So even people with permanent residency in Japan are not able to get into Japan right now, even if they have family there, because the countries are only allowing residents of their own country, which is, I don't know, a lot of people have mixed opinions about it. But yeah, it's really unfair that they'll treat nationals and allow them to come back in, but long-term residents and permanent residents, they're kind of giving a sort of discrimination treatment when really the circumstances should be the same. The other thing we're kind of worried about right now is with the whole virus situation in America just going completely bonkers right now. The reaction has just been crap. It's turned into a political issue. I don't really want to discuss that on the channel because apparently it's debatable whether you should wear masks or not and socially isolate and stuff like that. But anyway, because of that, there's obviously a lot of countries aren't going to allow travel from Americans. So I'm really hoping that the new rules that they make, they base those off of which country you're traveling from, which country you have residence from, and not your country of nationality. Because if they make these rules based on my nationality, as an American, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere for quite some time. And that would really, really suck. Fortunately, the situation has been relatively under control in Japan, even though they haven't been doing any crazy shutdown measures or anything crazy. But at the same time, there have been another increase in cases here lately. I believe just yesterday there were over 100 cases in Tokyo, which is not a lot compared to some other big cities and with some bigger problems around the world, but it just shows that even Japan, there are still rising cases and unreported cases and stuff like that. So one solution to this problem that has been put out there so far is these sort of travel bubbles. So from certain countries, they can travel to other countries that are around the same level as them, the same level of control of the pandemic. So Vietnam is obviously in the upper category there. They have almost no cases and 0 deaths. And Taiwan is pretty similar. They're countries that were on top of this right away. They completely flattened the curve, just completely shut it at its source, didn't play any BS games. Japan is way better than most other countries, but they still could do a little bit of a better job, I feel. And really everything that we think about right now is speculation. Like when things started shutting down, we were like, okay, maybe around July or so, things will start getting back to normal, and then we can go to Vietnam. And now it's July already, and there's still no official news in sight. We have no idea what's going on. So now it's like, okay, maybe in August there'll be something that'll happen. Maybe in September that'll be someday that we can go. But right now it's just impossible to make a plan. And it's really stressful for us because we don't know when is the good time to start selling all our stuff. Do we keep a hold of everything so that we can live our normal lives comfortably until we're ready to go? Or do we sell everything and get as minimal as possible so when we do have news to go, we can just sort of go right away? And we're debating between those two lines right now. Obviously, if we sell all of our bikes and we only have like one bike left, then we'd be limited to just riding with one bike, and oh my God, the horror. But anyway, yeah, beautiful area here. We're still like right in the city, and normally there aren't too many mountains in the cities in Japan. But this area, we've got a nice view here, some beautiful nature. If I were to buy a house somewhere in Japan, I would definitely love some sort of community. We're gonna have to turn around and show you guys the view going towards this way. But anyway, at the peak up here, there's some beautiful houses. I'm gonna distract from my story a little bit and just comment on some of these houses, because just check this out. This is obviously a very rich area, and some of these houses are just insane. Like, check out this mansion just right up here, up on the top of the mountain. And we're not even at the top yet. So this is actually a new area I just found out. I actually used to cycle around this area, and there's a loop around the subdivision, around the outside, which I would do for my hill training, but I never actually came into the center. In the center is this road right here, and it goes up even further. And up here, there's some crazy views. And the reason I found out is because my wife, she does a walking channel, and I recommended her to come over here to film a walking video. And she found this area, and I saw it in her video. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that existed. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna see this area for myself. And yeah, some of these houses are just really nice. And there's a really cool view of the mountains off in the distance from up here. So yeah, if you're curious to see this area more in detail, Chung's doing a lot of residential walking tours around our area in Japan to keep that as a memory, but also show you guys what it's like being in Japan, so you get a cool immersive experience. And this house is really cool. Check out this design. And check this out, they've got a cool little patio seat out there, and they can just see these mountains off in the distance, the Ferris wheel from Morikoto Park, the Linimo off in the distance, the magnetic train. And that's Mount Sanage, Mount Mikuni off in the distance, where we train often. Amazing view over here, geez. Just imagine having a house like this. You can come out here for some afternoon tea, watch the sunset, watch the sunrise. Oh man, this is the dream. So anyway, that's the basic update of our situation and what's going on with our lives right now. We're sort of stuck in limbo land where we're not sure when we can leave Japan and when we can move to Vietnam. But for now, we plan on just staying here until things are a little bit more clear. We get some more information from the Vietnamese government on when we can go. And it's a little bit unfortunate timing because that's right when we quit our jobs. So we don't really have any regular income coming in, but we're able to spend some more time focusing on this channel. And I also want to say a big thank you to all of you who helped support us over on Patreon and joined our support team over there. Your guys' support really helps us out a lot during these difficult times. And at the same time, we also realize that we're not the only ones going through difficult times right now. And so I'm sure a lot of you guys are dealing with some difficulties right now, and it's not just us. But anyway, we wish you all the best out there and hope that all of you guys are safe wherever you are in the world. And we're going to continue and update you guys on our situations when we have some more solid information moving forward. But anyway, from now on, we just plan on continuing making more videos like this. And we're spending the time more usefully, where I'm actually studying Vietnamese and Tuong's studying English, so we're studying a lot at home. I'm also doing a little bit more freelance work, and I also work on a website that teaches Japanese. So in case you guys don't know, I don't promote this on the channel very often. I make a website, it's called JLPT Sensei. I've actually been writing some ebooks teaching Japanese grammar, vocabulary, and stuff like that. So if you're interested in learning Japanese, go check out the website. You can check out some of the ebooks and stuff that we've been making recently. And anyway, we're going to finish this video here, but we're going to continue on our ride and make another video continuing our ride. So if you're interested in seeing the descent, seeing some more of this area and some other cool areas cycling in Japan, be sure to check out the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.